is absolute dynamite. And boom, it goes.
And boom, the layout goes. Slusta and Decran are on the move.
Jimmy Meckler to Decran.
Few aces up your sleeve. You know, maybe don't want to show your whole hand, but a fantastic offensive possession. It was Leo Stangunek who had that Big old backhand, isolated him on the under as everyone cleared deep, and brilliant start from France. And you know, I was talking before the game, it's like, look, this is a warm-up, technically doesn't matter. I was like, forget about that. You don't get to play the best players in the world that often. Go beat them.
Yeah.
They're not in the same pool in China, and they may not play each other. Why not go get a win? You say it doesn't matter, but, you know, USA don't want to lose any games. They're all competitive people, and take the opportunity, play it. I know we're just in the field here in London, but...
And mentality matters, you know, going into the rest of their games, going into World Games with a win against the US would be a really great bolster.
Thompson now. A flat force coming from Chloe. Brownlee to Holzmeyer, back to Brownlee, playing as the axis handler on this line. You can see USA not sending out the same players, happy to rotate through the whole roster. Brownlee again. Hits the around swing to Kocher. Tees one out of space to Thompson. Just playing around the handlers at the moment. A backhand force. Doing their best to slow down this USA roster. Holzmeyer dishes to Kocher with momentum. Hits Cammy Groom, and fantastic flowing offense. Finished off by Trump in the end zone for USA. A clean hold to answer back.
Gorgeous, yeah. France doing a great job on defense there, staying so tight on their person, but USA just proving that kind of slick machine that they're known to be, finding the gaps, throwing with confidence, not being afraid to kind of weave it through those small spaces that France were barely leaving them with, but USA always finding their reset, kind of playing calmly, level head, not in a rush and waiting for the right opportunity, but that kind of flowing movement that they managed to get into there, just fantastic.
Welcome to London Invite 2025. We're here at the World Games warm-up. A fantastic free Friday, a load of free games coming to you here, folks. Liam Grant alongside Rachel Douglas. Apologies if we weren't on air a few moments ago, but it's been a fantastic start to the game here from both sides. A clean hold for France, a clean hold for USA. Rachel, your thoughts on the opening of this game?
Yeah, well, some beautiful commentary lost to time. I'm afraid you'll never get to hear it, the gems that were coming out of our mouths, but also seen some gems on the field. We've had a really beautiful, clean, decisive first hold from France, followed up by a nice and calm, under pressure, but unruffled hold from the US. So we're 1-1 here on this field. And so far, both teams just looking great, looking fresh, looking strong, looking well drilled. It'll be interesting to see as the game wears on, like which team can really kind of hold their composure.
Liv player with the pull for Team USA. We're doing the prescribed gender pulling, as is the norm now in WIFDIF games. France maintaining possession. Marco Delal hits the around. All Benvenien back in the handler space as well, and USA slowing down France this time. Stanunek gets the under, getting high in the stall count. Oh, it looks like a call on the field. Perhaps a collision with Freechild. All Benvenien, one of the handlers for Czech, and has been fantastic this season so far for the French Stars. The left-handed player kind of taking over that Quentin Roger role that they had the World Games last time. A bit more pressure now coming from USA. Ison Bourneau getting high in the stall count. Opens up with that inside backhand. Creates momentum almost in the end zone. Oh, and incredible D. Dawn Colton closes the door. Thought the horse had bolted already, but she denies that continuation shot.
Such great awareness, just leaving her feet the instant that she saw a play could be made and securing that defense.
Dylan Freechild picked it up, and now we're swinging over the player. First opportunity of a break for either teams. Lindsley competing in his third World Games cycle. I joked with him he might do a fourth. I wouldn't put it past him. Player, one of the dark horses to make this team, but she looks fantastic already. Player will be competing with Brute Squad this year, and she doesn't hesitate, looking for Helton deep. This one, lots of touch, lots of flowing, and that is a break for Team USA. Helton in the back of the end zone.
We saw them drilling that exact situation on the other field in warm-up for this game. They really want to look for kind of receiving the disc in a power position and having one of their absolute beast receivers going deep, going hard, not afraid to commit to that. We saw that despite the defender being there, the sort of early read that there was no play to be made, and Kayla Helton running that down and securing that for her team. But that touch just had the exact right amount of sit. It's not windy today. There's not too much wind to speak of, but there is sort of like a little bit of a kind of breeze that could kind of pick up a disc when it's that high. But beautifully executed. Yeah, delivered perfectly to the back of the end zone. And yeah, Helton's got the jets to get down there.
Fearless from Liv Clare, that connection with Helton. Let's see those female matching players connecting on that hook. So USA with first break of the game, and their first break opportunity.
Yeah, just before that defense happened, my kind of reflection was I was really enjoying how France were using the space. A lot of hassling from the USA defense, but really not seeming too worried about it. Always just waiting until they knew someone was going to be free and kind of finding that space, happy to move backwards, happy to move laterally. And they looked like they were in flow, and it was sort of on the edge of my lips right when that storming D came through. But I think that will do them well as the game proceeds.
Onsland feels the pull, centers to Lin Van Yen, and you can see France putting out a lot of the same players. One with a zipper play there, but looks of it, but a very junky defensive look from USA to start things off. So they flustered that zipper play. Polski, and the return is his French side. Two left-handed players looking to connect here. Michael Ing in pursuit. Oh, an incredible box out by Pazzo. That is an incredible read and box out with big man Ing on your back. It's so well to connect to that one.
Really smart play. If you're not certain you're going to be able to kind of best them in the air, then managing to kind of outmaneuver them and make sure you have that body position is just so critical. And that's a textbook case in that instance. Read it perfectly, kind of sold player down the line. We see that there was great separation at the start of that cut, but just sat a little bit, but no problem, outmaneuvered at the end, and France securing that score and saying to USA, like, we've got long game, really kind of demonstrating these early points. They've got set plays, they've got long game, they're diverse, you can't take anything for granted, which I think is exactly what they'd look to do, right? This event, this day of friendlies is all about learning. And so you asked whether the teams would kind of bring their whole playbook, and I wonder if they might. You know, I think things will change between now and when they meet each other again at the World Games in China in August.
If they meet.
Oh, yeah.
If USA get out of the group stage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's for certain.
Nothing's for certain. So this could be the only time they play this season. I'm not sure if they're in the groups on an invite, but like I said, take the opportunity, go for it. I think Pazzo did a great job there of just sealing out. He didn't want to end up in a jump battle on Michael Ing, and that's a lesson they need to learn. If they end up trying to battle for position, you see Elliot Bonnet tends to wear the trousers, rain, wind, or shine. Brilliant pull. I think there might have been a nutmeg there. Hard to know if it landed inbounds or out of bounds. Looks like it'll be coming out the front of the corner.
Yeah, great work. Great field position from a pull.
Off that coffin corner sideline, going around to, I think, Moss, but great opportunity now for France to get back on serve. Bonet's at the front corner being marked by Hayes, but behind the stall count. Where's Forget going to go? Eventually gets the stall 9 3/4 throw off, but there's some pats on the head signaling the stall out is being called. Looks like it's accepted stall out.
Oh yeah, the kind of the time warp does seem to occur where 10 seconds on the field never really feels the same as 10 seconds in the booth, but that one is accepted, and they get the disc straight back.
Massive opportunity. France goes to bang. Kayla Helton, shot from the hip, doesn't hesitate. good battle downfield, and France yet again come up with the position battle.
Oh, this is a tough one now. It looks like there might be some discussion. We haven't seen a hand signal for a foul call, but the discussion would imply that that is what's going on. And I was about to say that was another textbook example of using that field position, and hard to say what the kind of sensations and feelings were for the players on the field, how much contact that was in that positioning. But that's a contested foul, and we'll go back, which I think is really gonna burn for. That feels like that maybe should have been a turnover, but who's to say?
I have no problem giving my opinion. I think that should have been a turnover. I felt like the player had position. The resolution fairly quickly. Elton has it. Will she send it again? Being marked by Annie Blanc, who's just 19 years old. Hayes. This is it back to Vinny. For Free Child. Vinny and Free Child play very well together in the last World Games, and that's why they're on this line together now. Oh, reset there, goes low and dangerously, and again, one straight together from Mox. See if Forget can keep it this time. He's not going to get stalled out, but shows a risky biscuit. An incredible leap into the air, holding the skies over London right now. Fantastic goal. Sullivan Robles.
Unbelievably decisive response from France. Obviously a much messier point than the predecessors. We saw a lot of kind of clean behavior, and then things just getting a little bit, maybe a bit overwhelming for France with that stall out. The US demonstrating how quick they're going to be. Like, they're not going to sweat turnovers. They are immediately on defense, and they will absolutely like punish you for any of their own mistakes. So that stall out, super unfortunate, then getting the disc back, and that also being having to go back again, but picking up very, very decisively, deciding not to hang around, not to kind of get caught up in the mess this time, launch it deep, and what a reception.
Yeah, Forget wasn't getting stalled out again. He's like, no, I'm going to wang it deep this time.
Yeah.
That one on the money.
What do they say, stall me out once, shame on someone? I don't know. It's not happening twice.
Team USA sporting the blue jersey stays usually Allez le Bleu, but seeing Team France in white. Already they're not going to surrender easy in this game. Went down a break, but got it back there. So we are back on serve.
Both these teams here in a sort of friendly capacity, warming up for the World Games. We mentioned before that might have been lost, that they've sort of got their full rosters. It will be only 14 players from each side that actually are competing at the World Games, but given that you need alternatives, you need fresh legs, both teams electing to bring and play through their full rosters this weekend.
Obviously, one of those alternate players loving the matchup against Monet. I really want to find out who's the fastest between those two teammates on DC Truck Stop. Now going head to head here at the London Invite. Big call. Roger, possibly a foul.
Yeah, I think he's sort of indicating that he had to push through Forget to get to the disc, and sort of, I guess, saying that that's a fair space to be competing in. But just a little bit of discussion here as they resolve.
Like it's going to be contested resolution. Yeah, I want that competition to hurry up a bit. It's not going to affect things too much, whatever the resolution, but all players maybe need to find a level of physicality they're happy with. We're going to keep low in this game, but yeah. Thompson. And it's the undershot to Trope, who was, I think, the star of the World Games team last time, Claire Trope. Her and Jack Williams, who's not part of the team this year, were the two stands out. Boxley knocking on the doorstep, looking to punch it in, getting behind the saw count. In comes back, foul called. Well, this is a friendly matchup, but you can see things getting heated already here. everyone has their sun cream on in London today.
There will be some adjustments. You know, European playing style, North American playing styles, they are a little bit different. They often look similar in kind of offensive style, but levels of physicality, what we accept, how we communicate on the field might just differ a little bit.
Anna Thompson isolated at the front of the end zone. Good battle with Chloe Olivier. Gets some high fives from her teammates. So we're all level again here, folks. 3-3. And I know this is the World Games, but you know what? We get games of 15. That's pretty good. We get ULTI.TV broadcasting it. Gotta love that.
That's pretty good.
Game advisors. Gotta love that as well. Lots of great reasons to enjoy the fantastic ultimate here. Grasshopper Rugby Football Club, as we see. I think that's Sam Hill doing some hard work.
Yeah, we've got lots of volunteers, general dog's body labourers from the ultimate community here supporting Clapham, putting on their 4th London Invite tournament here at Grasshoppers Rugby Club. Stunning, great fields, great facilities. We're thankful to be back here for another year. And we've seen the tournament grow. This is the first time there's a mixed division, and by some blessed alignment, we managed to get to work with and look at all these beautiful World Games players.
Yeah, to a strange turn of events, I feel somewhat responsible for this. That often means Stef or Pazzo trying to get
Go
a
on, Liam,
Europe
take credit.
USA. Yeah, I'll take credit for everything. Well, yeah, we do have a mixed division here, which is great. And I think it's the best division here. We get the World Games. What more can you want?
Well, listen, this is definitely a division full of superstars, but we're really excited to have our open and women's teams coming and competing for the rest of the weekend.
The French side, again, we see that red stack splitting and attacking the break side under. Onslaught having to go backwards, looking to give goal. Watskolski using that lefty dish. Latchy comes back, a lot of pressure coming from Colton, but great fake to open up space. And now Onslaught has a continuation shot, and he does not hesitate. Fantastic goal for France.
France really playing with the kind of the direction, of the disc there, like moving it across, forcing it back into that same line. The quick releases as well, I think, are something that's really going to be very effective against a team that team like USA, who are going to be in your pocket that whole time. You know, if you can get the disc released before the defender even really kind of realizes that the disc is coming in their direction, it's going to be harder for them to make those micro adjustments and shut that down. And we can see from both sides, actually, that really quick movement into the end zone, those quick passes that sort of, before you've even set your pivot, you're kind of 1-2 points of contact and the disc is already gone. It's a really great way to just kind of cut and punish even just like an inch of space between the defender and their mark.
Like a timeout is being called here. Great flow up the break side from France. Saw Tiffany Latchy there. A lot of pressure coming from Colton. We saw the little fake, and then once they got momentum down the break side, very quick releases to continue that. That's where they're going to get a lot of joy against this USA team, is attacking the break side. They're very fast. They're going to take away a lot of those open side looks, but if you can keep momentum swinging down the break side.
Yeah, and that's going to be really the aim of the game. For a lot of these teams, we sort of talk about open side and break side, but it's not meaningless, but it means less when you've got players and throwers who can break you like they just kind of breaking eggs, like not unbothered. So this idea of the kind of the defense, obviously you want to try and shut stuff down, but if you can't like fully shut it down, then it's disrupt and contain. So I think we could see a lot of that from the US defense. Every time France have come out on offense, we've seen them looking for pool plays and what looks like really kind of set and decisive looks that seem to have already been kind of pre-selected. The first point, they managed to pull it off and they got through with a really smooth score in just a few passes. But ever since then, the USA have been really switched on, making sure that they're kind of containing and disrupting and trying to make France not be able to have their first look, have their second look, maybe even their third look, get those resets in, and hope that that gives them more throws and more opportunity to kind of either see France mess up the throw or a big defensive play from the US defenders.
Maddie Sang imparting some wise words during that timeout. Kearney as head coach yet again. He's managed to get the job done on several occasions for this USA World Games team. Former Fury coach as well, and got the World Championship for them. So incredibly experienced and very fun coach. I've had the time to chat to him at the World Championships Australia last year. He was there doing a bit of scouting, and such a fun guy, great demeanor. And I think he brings that to the team as well. It brings a lot of joy. It looks like a very fun camp, and I think that's one of the reasons why we have Maddie as the coach. And he's a bit of a different style than others. I think he picks players that play well together. Maybe not necessarily the best 14 players, but the best 14 will work in his system that will do the things he wants and gets the job done.
Yeah, very successful record, and we're going to see if that can continue or if there's another power rising in the world of Ultimate.
You see, not exactly the handler line I expected from USA, but Anna Thompson and Marquez Brownlee been given the rock to start things off. Critical stack here from USA with Holzmeier at the side, but looking for Trope on the under straight away, and she is forever free. Marquez Brownlee making a jive and can't get open in the reset, so Thompson comes back as release valve. Now Marquez holsters the hook. Thompson going every other pass here, along with Trope. Really winning their matchup so far. In comes back. Holzmeier dishing it to Kocher. Again, attacking the break side incredibly well. Trope. And cool and collected for this USA side. And Troy Lillier with an incredible grab. Is going toe-to-toe for Thompson. And a big old Buddy Biscay now looking for Benet. Can anyone compete with him in the air? Oh, that is wild and loose. Incredibly dangerous throw that was never going to work. Benet just needed to compose himself. Climbed the ladder and then just threw the disc right off of it.
Yeah, you can see him lean back as he released that disc, which gave it all that sit. If he just kept his core strong and kept that disc, I think where he meant it to be, it would have sat out in front and that would have been great. But no problem when you got teammates who are going to get it straight back for you.
Benet doesn't hesitate to pick it up again. Hoping he has a little more composure this time as he sits down for that round flick. They continue again. Thinks about the inside shot. Benet staying back in the handler space. Dishes the no pivot backhand. You feel like Benet's got to attack that line. And a dangerous throw goes into the turf. Two break opportunities for France there, goal bag, and they had it both times outside the end zone and can't convert.
A bit of end zone madness, that kind of in the red zone, seeing red, just not able to execute the options as they intended. Both of those could have been fine, I think, if they just managed to kind of throw as they intended.
Holzmeier comes back. And you can see USA under a lot of pressure now. A lot of the French players standing underneath their marks. It looks like USA want to hook it particularly. Great field gaining under there from Kenna. Gets a swing to Brownlee. Trope again working like a piston, grinding out the unders.
Pick called in the stack. Just a quick pause as they resolve. I would say looking a bit frantic.
Oh, hits the inside. Continuations there. And it comes on to Kocher, who steps around for the beautiful buttery backhand break. A hold for USA, but that's not how they drew that one up.
Yeah, real departure from what we've seen so far this game. That point felt scrappy, it felt messy, it felt a bit panicked, a bit rushed. France felt more in the driving seat, I'd say, throughout most of that point, getting kind of decisive blocks. But then, as we said, not keeping their calm composure to put it into the end zone and giving it back. But the US offense, you could even see them kind of saying to each other, like, we calm ourselves a bit. And ultimately working it in, but definitely looking a little bit rattled, which I think will definitely be part of France's game plan. Want to try and get into that head, get into the mentality, make them make decisions that you're not interested in. They wouldn't usually be interested in delivering.
Yeah, France had plenty of opportunities to break there, and you feel like they were the cause of their own demise, actually. Bonnet ballooning one up into the sky and getting a dish outside the end zone. I want to learn from that and keep that composure. You can tell they're really enjoying it out there. Almost building momentum and getting carried away at times. All the pull for USA. One of the alternates on this USA team. You feel like the only real pure handler, or maybe the most likely to be an O-line handler. We saw Brownlee and Thompson doing it there. They're well able to do it, but Ox kind of stands out to me as the more purest O-line handler. Leo Stanguinek. And beautiful continuation throws coming from France. Always looking to keep the ball moving. A pick is called. Sam Bourneau. To come back.
Beautiful position from France. You can see they're quite disciplined in their offense, that they're returning to their kind of inflow place setup, and it's just a textbook setup.
With this red stack, I don't see too much of it anymore in Europe, but both teams bringing out a bit of red stack here and forcing the teams to play through the handlers. Here comes a deep shot. Not a lot of separation, but an incredible read. And that is Stanguinek going over Hayes. He's so good in the air. He's got magnets for hands. Brings that one in for Team France.
Yeah, Stanguinek receiving that really well. That did come in quite blady. It came in quite sharp. Really hard to get a good kind of defensive play on that. But it really, that felt like a trust pass from like teammates who kind of know the vibe. Trusted the receiver to get up there to get it. It didn't look kind of picture perfect.
I think there was that blady angle that kind of prevented Hayes from having a bid on the disc, and Stanguinek just getting right under and was blading down on top of the receiver like that. Very hard for a defender to make a bid on it. Hayes was definitely close by and his presence felt, but held his nerve, Stanguinek. You see the coaching staff of Team USA, Andy Sang, Nancy Sun, Miranda Knowles. You know, we always talk about Team USA having the best players, but a lot of times they have the best coaching staff as well, and really harness that wealth of knowledge. I think, you know, Team USA do a great job of having the tactics, but there's also culture, mentality, such a big thing. These team sports. Looks like we might be having a heat timeout here, I'm not sure, but some of the French players were cheating through the shade. It is hot and steamy here in London. Everyone takes on a bit of water, catches their breath. What a fantastic opening 30 minutes of Ultimate.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
I worked for a Michelin star chef making gelato in Paris. I had my own restaurant in Nicaragua and a food truck in Australia. Why wouldn't you watch me? Check out my YouTube channel. I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe.
Oh, wow.
Guided by some of your favorite ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
You'll find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Lightspeed, a global venture capital firm, is proud to sponsor Team Play, where excellence and cohesion take center stage.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And credit to Stef and made for it.
That was absolutely incredible.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back to the London Invite 2025. The sun is split the rocks here at the Grasshopper Rugby Club just beside Heathrow Airport, and it's the French team that took off in the first half. France up 5-4. Liam Grant alongside Rachel Douglas. What a brilliant first half.
Brilliant start to the game from both teams. Starting to get slightly scrappy towards halftime. Of course, these are shorter games today. Teams just trying to sort of get their heads and their legs into it. We have seen 2 breaks, so it's not just been a kind of a straightforward game. Like the scoreline might kind of belie. It's really been quite a kind of spicy one. We've seen really clean and flowing offense. We've seen big defensive bids. And then we've seen them start to sort of figure each other out and get into each other's heads a bit. Both teams playing really close person defense, which is making it incredibly exciting to watch. You know, the teams are really having to think hard, work hard, move hard to get these points on the board. And I think the second half is just going to be more of the same. We overheard a little bit of Coach Matty Zhang's team talk there, just sort of eavesdropping here in the booth, and we could hear him talking about energy and effort. And that's going to be the name of the game for Team USA. And I imagine similarly for France, you know, they know their systems, they're just getting into it, they're getting warmed up. And so it's really going to be about kind of intention, focus, effort, and just kind of the vibes of being here, good feelings and enjoying the moment.
Just have 60-minute games, that's why at a half time at 30 minutes, and I'm loving the intensity. You know, as I said, it's a warm-up game, but you can tell that every player in the field, they're winners, they like winning, they don't like losing, whatever the occasion, whether it's World Games or a game of Scrabble, they want to win. And yeah, fantastic performance from both teams to start things off. France have had the more break opportunities, but we are back on serve. That one's going to bounce off the fence. Close to landing in bounds. Looks like it'll be bricked by Marquez Kevin Brownlee. Things to the downwind side to start things off. Anna, very active in hand roll. Brownlee zips one down the sideline to Trope, and crosswind at the moment coming from this near side to that far sideline where Pro found herself a bit of a collision downfield. We'll keep this because Camille Blanc already has 2 World Championships to her name. World Beach Championship and a World Junior. I'm sure she'd love to add a 3rd World Championship trophy to her cabinet. And they force a turnover again. France slowing down the USA, and eventually an error creeps in. Let's see if they can keep the composure now. France could really have more breaks on the board considering how many opportunities they've had. Move it up to the upwind sideline and just a stone cold drop. Heartbreaking. Team France. Oh no, won't be watching that one back anytime soon. Thompson, gift. It's that swing to Trope and the easy dish to Boxley. Always has the finishing move for Team USA, but a gift to Team France, and they've done that a number of times. You feel like, how long can they afford to give up those great chances? You get a feeling USA is going to get one now and convert it.
Yeah, France earning those turns, and then I don't know what to kind of put it down to. We talk a lot, we have the kind of the cliches in the booth where we talk about like uncharacteristic drops, but like truly, Eva Bourneau dropping a kind of a clap catch is a deeply unusual affair. And it just feels like maybe it's that kind of focus, maybe it's the kind of the nerves going up against the US juggernaut, maybe it's the kind of, they're a World Games squad, and there's obviously kind of pressures that come against with being titled as like the best of the best. We did mention earlier on that France has a quite a young squad. They're really bringing up a lot of young talent who are absolute phenomenal athletes, many of whom have been at beach championships, national championships, world championships. However, this might be their kind of first time setting foot on this like elite of the elite stages. As is what we said about the London invite, is the elite of the elite stages. But on that kind of World Games squad, and I wonder if that's just getting into their heads a little bit, with these sort of just execution errors, which are just giving USA the opportunity to sort of stay in and potentially move forward and take the game.
Alden Venien. There. Nice. Easy reset. Matsupolski. In this first stack, quite far away from the handlers from France. Playing in the handler space, and that is a dangerous backhand that's going to sail out of bounds. Need to be hitting the far corner there, but just caught some of that wind.
It was a wild option, not least because you'd already pointed out the stack was really deep, so any cuts are going to be starting deep, and you're going to have to throw it pretty deep to get down to them. But also from the sideline right down that same sideline, really risky.
Now the break opportunity for Team USA. And failing to capitalize last few attempts. Helton doesn't hesitate, but that one too low and swiped away. Lead by Lachey.
Yeah, tipped by Lachey, really well read. Came out low. Lachey saw the opportunity and just managed to get some fingertips to it.
Goes back. Now looking for the deep shot. Cross the curve. Another one of those World Junior champions. Get pick is called, and not a huge amount of options coming from this vertical stack. France, they come in dribs and drabs. They force their handlers to make a lot of throws.
And a lot of them are cutting kind of across, they're doing a lateral cut across the, slashing cut across the front of the stack, which is causing a lot of these picks. And as we saw, it's really shutting down their own, stymieing their own deep game.
And putting pressure on the resets, a high pass. Wind is picked up significantly now, so much harder to adjust. This is a dangerous throw. A couple of players underneath it. Oh, going up early. Looks like Lisson Bourneau maybe caught that one first.
That was a monster effort from Bourneau. It looked like she didn't have position, but just dedicated, read it well, went up. I mean,
It looks simultaneous to me.
it looks simultaneous, which means it will, of course, stay with the offensive player. But that was...
This is with rules, and players are allowed to look at replays if they wish and inform the teammates if it's to the detriment of their own team.
resolved on field in this instance, though, which is always great if it's truly contentious.
Oh, Cornell will keep the disc. And they push this one in, and another loose throw. Unfortunate from Latchy. Had the block early on. And another break opportunity from USA. Both teams struggling to convert those breaks. Looking deep now, Liv player. This one fading. Can she adjust? Does so well to read that one. Player has looked sensational so far, proving her worth on this World Games roster. Freechild looking to, on those little give goes. Coach comes out, but not converted. Another dangerous throw. Elton comes down with it, and that is a break for Team USA.
Finally, another break. We had two early in the game, and then it's been scrappy, managing to get the break opportunities, but failing to put them in, and then bringing it back for holds. Shaky holds, but holds nonetheless. But USA just managing to hold their composure that little bit more to bring that one home.
It's a dangerous throw, and Elton gets a good read on it. Nice give goal actively from Kirsten Johnson and Freechild. Johnson showing the underside of this to the wind, but has enough spin on it to carry it into the hands of Helton. You can see there is a crosswind now.
Yeah,
on the pitch, running from near side to far side. And if you do not adjust your throws to take it into account, you'll end up with a couple of turnovers, as France did. So USA take the lead, I believe, for the first time this game.
Lisson Bono was in position for that defense, but again, we're just seeing that slightly bladey disc. As you said, the wind has picked up. I wouldn't quite kind of fully classify it as a wind yet, but it is a bit breezy. It's kind of a little bit gusty, stop and start. So those kind of bladey throws are quite high risk, but if you can execute them well, as they've both teams have now utilized for scores, then they can be really, really challenging to defend against.
Staying back out there, certainly Latchy. Antoine on the line now. You see Marquez Brownlee with the pull, and I think that's one of the things that might have helped him get onto this team is his pulling prowess. That one sails out of bounds. I'm sorry, Marquez, I crushed you for that one.
Yeah, we just discussed how the breezes picked up, and that was a bit of a skyscraper. I think it just caught a little bit too much as it kind of kissed the clouds and came back down. It was out, but it was close. It was close.
Yeah, because it's sunny and warm, people aren't realizing there is a breeze, and if you show that underside of the disc to the wind, there's going to be issues. Force to the near sideline now in power position. Hesitates. And Vignan. It's the undershot, but a Cami Groom shuts the door, denies that one. Massive block for Team USA. Was a World Games alternate twice over, but now finally in a rightful place on this World Games team. Has to get 2 breaks in a row now. Oxley hits Kotter. Playing with confidence now, Team USA. Moving it quickly, Thompson. And she find the final blow. It's Cami Groom with the bookends. She still got it.
Yeah, they don't call her Zoom Zoom Groom for nothing. turning the jets on, getting that run through D. It looked like it maybe wasn't possible. We'd seen like so many times this game where it looked like potentially a run through play was going to be made, but the speed of the French receivers usually just at the last minute it negates that option. But we can see here Cammy Groom just taking that inside line, literally just getting her fingertips to it. And USA looking confident after that, kind of not like in the other kind of break attempts where things had looked a bit shaky, a little bit panicked. I wonder if France were a little bit surprised by that. Perhaps their defense wasn't quite as locked in after that turn as it has been in previous points.
Well, momentum swinging towards, I'll say the red, white, and blue, but both flags red, white, and blue. The stars and stripes anyway, as France calling a timeout, looking to settle themselves. Had a fantastic first half, and we're in the driving seat, but USA getting those 2 breaks in a row now. Very difficult for France to come back this one. We're playing just 60-minute games, I believe, so clock is already against them.
Yeah, and of course today is a sort of additional day of the tournament. These are sort of friendlies for all these teams to get nice and warmed up, and tournament to kind of get firing, and for us to brush off the cobwebs. But of course, over the weekend, we're really going to see the kind of the truly competitive games come up, both here in the mixed division as the teams kind of enter into that competition format, alongside with the open and women's divisions that will be joining us tomorrow.
Make sure to join the ULTI.TV YouTube channel. We'll be bringing you one free game every round over the weekend, but we'll also have some additional access to other live streams on the YouTube channel. Make sure to join that.
Yeah, there's a huge number of games being streamed. We've got 3 fields with streams this tournament, which is just phenomenal. And it means that you can check out just about every team, I think, will be on the stream. I don't know if that's a fact, but I'm going to say it with confidence. I would imagine if someone crunched the numbers, it seems very likely that almost every team, if not every team, will be streamed. So make sure that you're joining as an ULTI.TV member so that you can access all of those games and appreciate not just this World Games class mixed division, but our open and women's games as well, which are going to be fiery.
Child commanding D-line. And then what they want from each individual matchup. I think with these World Games rosters, with small squads, you can really talk about each individual player. Certainly when you get to China, you're going to have lists of notes on what every player wants, what's their favorite throws, what they like downfield, and make those adjustments. You can't really do that at other World Championships with so many teams with such big rosters, but here you can really figure out every player. And just the lick pull, mock, and get it up to just about the pick when they start their offense and approaching the lane. Finney forces them to swing early on. Monet getting involved now. Going up against Grant Lindsay. Pick's call didn't affect that play, so I believe the disc will stay with Monet. Back superstar. Patience here from France, firing one deep. This one is on the money. Tearing down the field. France get a much needed clean hold.
Precision throw right down that far sideline. Again, like we've seen that a couple times from France, that look where the throw is on the sideline, the cut is down that same sideline, and they're just not afraid to play in that space. It's been quite high risk, and we've seen them kind of fall foul of that earlier in the game, but that one was pinpoint, and I think probably that kind of IO shape, keeping it low, just above what Helton can make a play on, but just low enough that it's not catching that breeze that we spoke about, just meant that could really sit out. But really kind of decisive and interesting play. I think after a few shaky points, a couple points where they've been on the run, chasing USA, really great that France can kind of answer in such an emphatic manner and give such a confident and decisive point to bring the heads back into this.
Bono with another goal. She's enjoying herself out there. And France sticking with his breath stack. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in China and play horizontal the whole tournament. You wonder what we're seeing here in terms of tactics from both sides. No doubt all coaches of the other World Game teams are sitting down watching this game with their notebook. 1-4-0 to the other. Lisson scores. Eva pulls his time. And again, France not adjusting to that breeze. I think that's caught them out a couple of times with their pulls and in play. I needed to make that adjustment. Again, showing the underside of the disc to the wind. It's such a hard pull. You're allowing the wind to decide where the disc is going to go, and it sails miles out of bounds, or at least hits the out of bounds fence. Brownlee the big mark, fires one to Trope, and she's ballooned one up into the sky. And a break opportunity for France. You see teammates getting excited on the sideline, getting some life back into this French side. Sullivan, Roble having to pick up the disc on the downwind side, trying to confirm with Brownlee where that's going to come in, about 4 or 5 yards from the front cone. Has Bonet going deep. A very physical matchup versus Ing. Way for Olivier. Continuation throw. Oh, and a confusion there. Forget thought the disc was to someone else, so let it glide past her. And in the story for France all game, getting break opportunities and throwing them away. Olsmeyer. And this one loading the Trope. Oh, gets a bit of contact.
Uncontested from the ground, accepting that that was a foul. That's unfortunate because it's hard to say from this angle where the kind of contact originated, but it did look like there was sort of a play that could be made there. The disc sort of just directly over her.
Those situations as a defender can be blocked. You need to not make contact there, because then you're ensuring that there's going to be a completed throw in the case of a foul. So Trope gets it back, gliding with Blanc again. Those two getting to know each other very well.
Yeah, we're seeing some battles, lots of kind of repeated matchups, and maybe that, as you mentioned earlier, that competition that's ingrained so deeply in all these players can really grind at you over the course of a game. Some sort of slightly fiery matchups maybe as they're figuring out that physicality.
Keep the disc nonetheless. Need to get things back on track for Team USA. Tease one out to Thompson. They convert their own. Same old story for France here. Getting break opportunities, just can't convert them.
It feels like the France turns are just, they're sort of the really heartbreaking ones, because it's just those few kind of percentage points difference. It's not, it's the execution, it's the focus to realize that that disc is actually coming to you. And whether that's an error from the thrower or an error in concentration from the receiver, who's to say, but they just feel so close. They keep being so close. They're earning those opportunities and then kind of just squandering them by just not being quite dialed in enough. And against a side like the US, I feel like the US start solid and get solider, like they only dial further in. It's really rare. We did see that kind of slight janky play in the middle of the first half where perhaps they looked slightly flustered, but that next point comes out, that next line comes on the field, and that is like removed from memory. No longer is that any part of what they're doing on the field, and they've really managed to quash that, whereas maybe the France side just not having that kind of level of maturity of mindset, not yet able to sort of dial that in and just keep having those repeated execution errors, which are just squandering their hard-earned opportunity. This game the scoreline could look totally different by now if they just managed to tighten that little bit up.
not keeping stats exactly here in the booth, but I think it must be 1 from 6 break opportunities, France, something like that. At this level, you'd expect a higher conversion rate. Do the maths sometime later, folks. Oh, that pull just about lands in bounds. Onslan gives the disc a tap, but gets one pass off to Lachie, back to Onslan. Talismanic leader of this French side. They say happy to let France get several passes, but stopping them from getting any big gainers downfield. Onslan sells the big backhand fake. A lot of bouncing around downfield. Lachie this time grinds out the under. Valet. And easy resets coming for France, but not a lot of options downfield. Keeping that give-go momentum. Angunek, Renault, Lachie heavily involved. Going for the slow and steady wins the race approach. See the pressure coming. That one again way too high. Who can get on there? Stanyunek looked like he had a great read, but Rafi Hayes with the emphatic sky sails one to Holton. Doesn't hesitate shooting downfield. Lindsay can't reel that one in. Onslan wastes no time. He's off and going, looking for the disc there again. Pressure coming. Holton with the run through.
Yeah, that looked a little bit in the aftermath like there might have also been some offensive fingers on that. I think there's a discussion now about whether that might have been actually a strip.
Hard to get a clear view. I control. My initial perspective is Holton got there first, but no.
Yeah, it did.
Clear view.
It looked sort of in the as Colton moved through that maybe sort of some fingers were having to release it, but hard to say when Colton got such a solid hand to it, a real catch, and that maybe the other catch was somewhat tentative. Colton does have the inside line, but hard to say.
My perspective is Colton got there first. It's very tight. People are looking at me for the answers. That's just one opinion on the video replay. Looks like this one's going to go back. Great defense from Colton nonetheless, but she's going to have to do it again. Nice momentum pass to Onslan. But there comes the turnover. Shell doesn't want to waste no time. This backhand looks like it's going to sit. Can she get there? Running out of steam. Ellen Finney was puffing and puffing, but can't chase that one down.
We've seen that look again and again from USA in this game. Power position and then a sort of a straight huck for the player to run onto. We saw them warm it up. We've seen it be very effective. Unfortunately, the balance wasn't there, the touch wasn't there, and Finney, despite giving it absolute beans, wasn't able to get down there and motor for that one. France kind of gifted with keeping the possession in that last point, and now a gift for a second opportunity.
Unek has been fantastic defense this game so far. Lachie working hard. Oh, and the throw straight into the mouth of Hayes, who looks like he's going to get the bookends. Who can stop this man?
Yeah, outrageous. You sort of that defense was so quick and so smooth, and he's sort of playing offense so speedily without kind of a second thought. You sort of don't even realize it's happened. Still looking deep for where that disc's gone, but actually USA already in the end zone scoring. I really think there's what we've seen from France in terms of their handler movement, I would say, is absolutely phenomenal. We're seeing like really calm, really kind of decisive movement up 2/3 of the field. But I think you sort of mentioned a couple times here, Liam, that the downfield feels a bit crowded, and I think that was an example where they didn't have a clear lane for that throw to go. The stack was sort of milling around in that space, and so that was able to be intercepted because they didn't clear that lane for themselves. We've seen them kind of resetting and moving the disc and finding the right options in spite of that so far this game, but it does feel like that's a real weakness for the French side. That general melee and confusion in the middle of the field is giving away turns, it's creating that confusion we saw earlier about who the disc's for and what's going on. So despite that, the handlers, I think, are doing a phenomenal job over 2/3 of the field, and then we just seem to get towards that red zone and everyone kind of loses their head a bit.
I agree with you with the handler movement from France. It's good. They generate momentum. They get upfield. I do not like the threat stack. I hope they don't plan on playing this.
Yeah, maybe this is the red herring.
I think particularly against USA, where you're trying to get like big lane cutter options, but a lot of time, probably losing that athletic matchup. And you're isolating players to get pure athleticism. Well, I think horizontal stack, something else where you can, try and get a little more give-go momentum, take people out of the deep space. And we see this junky look from Team USA, just trying to stop that pull play. Perhaps he's trying to trap on that far sideline. Much harder position to be in on that far sideline. And France getting lots of passes in early, not getting a lot of big gainers downfield, behind the stall count. And Reach on the space, so that is what Polski signaling what he wants. A nice inside shot to try and get some downfield momentum. Onslaught under a lot of pressure. Holzmeyer swipes away at that like a bear swatting a salmon. Is definitely imposing figure. Now back with Enna. Has the shades on and unusual looking offhand backhand to lefty, but it works. That's all that matters. And another break for Team USA. It was tit for tat in the first half. The USA have found another gear and now steamrolling this French side in the second half.
Yeah, having a bit of fun with it there. McKenna, a bit of a Chagrin grin.
That is game, folks. USA take it with a break. An incredible first half, but USA just too strong in the end. Moxley punching it in to Michael Ng for the win. Fantastic game, well done to both teams. Team USA just too strong, Rachel.
Yeah, and really kind of dialing in more and more as that game went on. France, I think, with a huge number of lessons, and we sort of spoke about whether they were going to really bring everything to the field today, whether they'd leave things in reserve, and I think either way, this is really about them understanding and learning and kind of coming together as a team to figure out how they're going to move forward, and I think France will have a lot to take away from this, and that's really positive. So I know they would have loved a win, as anyone always would against the US. I think this was still hugely valuable, and I'm sure that they'll be taking a lot away from this game as they move forward, both today in the friendlies, tomorrow in the tournament, and in their road to the World Games.
Obviously, running up there to give a shout out for the Diskin camp. I'm sure some of the French players probably went to Diskin camp, a lot to grow ultimate in Europe. Seen him in a Belgium jersey before as well, Moby, now back in the French jersey. Team USA showcasing their strength here at the London Invite World Games warm-up. We'll leave it there, folks. We have a lot of other great games coming up this weekend. Be sure to like and subscribe ULTI.TV. Join the YouTube channel, get the all access for all the games happening, the best teams in the world. For Rachel Douglas, I've been Liam Grant. We will catch you later.
Thank you. Thanks.
ULTI.TV.